This is Will Smith, and this is the guy Will Smith calls when he meets storytelling hell. The Godfather of Storytelling, the guy who shaped Hollywood for 40 years, has challenged me to tell a story.
I think the best way to tell you about my screenplay is to tell you how I came up with this idea.
But not just any story. He wants my story to be the example for all his clients and students. No pressure. Right? Let me rewind. It all started when I told Michael how I monetized this YouTube channel. So glad I did that. I was sharing how for monetization, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And a lot of people struggle more with the watch hours. But I had over 15,000 watch hours when I was just waiting for the subscribers. He asked why.
Why?
And I was like, I'm so glad you asked. That's when I had to confess. In addition to having an amazing editor, I said, well, I've been using your 6-step storytelling framework to keep people engaged so that they watch my videos. And then Michael decided he wanted to see me in action. He said that for his next storytelling workshop, he wanted to use my story of monetizing my YouTube channel as the example for his client. We're talking professional screenwriters, novelists, award-winning speakers, some extremely successful entrepreneurs, people who actually know what they're doing. So that's cool. Cool. So the challenge is tell my story like a Hollywood blockbuster. Spoiler alert, telling a Hollywood story is a lot harder than it sounds.
What I don't know is why.
Yeah. That happened. But I have a plan. Step 1, get Michael to coach me. If Will Smith gets a consult to tell the perfect Hollywood story, then so do I. Step 2, collect all his wisdom and store it in my collection of story gems, or something like that. Step 3 is to apply my secret hack to really wow Michael in a way that he's not expecting. I'll tell you more about that later. And that's how I'm going to tell a story capable of impressing the Godfather of Storytelling. Probably. Hopefully. Let's just get started.
I'm going to ask you some questions that I sort of know the answers to.
Yeah.
And the first one is, you said you'd always dreamed of being a content creator for YouTube. But what I don't know is why.
Yeah.
What made you want to do this? I mean, you're a successful marketer and you've coached people or guided people in a whole lot of ways. What was the hook to that? Why that particular goal? And one of the things you want to do in starting the story is you want to create empathy with the hero, and that's you. And so I think hearing you talk about how you loved performing and you chose not to do it in some ways because of whatever, and and you went on to do other things that you like, but you long to do that again. I think lots of us have had that experience where we did something, and then even if we like the other thing even better, it's like, but I really miss when I used to do X, and now you found an avenue to do that.
Yeah.
And so the 6 steps are really 6 steps the hero of the story needs to go through, and it matches the structure of any successful movie, or whatever, however you want to say it. 2 main things create emotion in a story. One is conflict, okay? Yeah. Even in your introduction, you love being a performer, but then you weren't able to do it because you became a mom and you had another career, There's a conflict in there. There's a tug of war between what you used to do, and what you're doing now. The second thing is specificity. Okay. And that means the more specific, it's like being vivid. But a good storyteller is always creating a movie in the mind of their audience, or the reader if you're a book author or something like that, because we want to picture what's happening and anticipate what's going to happen next. Everybody likes a success story, so you're using theirs to create your own. And also you want to knock down obstacles that would stand in their way. I would think there's another reason too, and that is, unless I'm mistaken, just because of my ignorance, but if you hear the start of her story, EJ's, it's very easy to empathize with her because she's struggling to make it in an arena, could be business or whatever, and then she gets crushed and her dream is crushed. If I hear a story about Adam Sandler, it might be tough times at some point, but I know he's going to be one of the richest comedians around.
He's so far removed from it.
That's the climax, because that shows that you were a success. Since the climax is them saying you're now going to be, monetize, you're able to monetize. Now we need to go back and put that word in the beginning. Because when you declare, you said, I'd always dreamed of, something. And, I just love doing that. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to reach a point where not only I'm getting more and more viewers, but I'm actually able to monetize it and drop that in. So now you've established your goal as a specific visible finish line.
Yeah.
And then when you said, and now, when you talked about because I was asking, who do you tell stories about? And you said, now I'm telling my own stories. That's your aftermath.
Okay, I got some gems on my call with Michael, but I definitely didn't nail it. I have another follow-up coaching call with Michael in just 3 days.
The next step is the opportunity or the crisis. Something happens that changes.
So I've been going through the entire call word for word, and there are some gems I missed. Totally missed it the first time.
And it really means there's a structure to a well-told story. And the structure is always basically the same. And in Michael's approach, it's based on everything he knows, having worked in Hollywood for 40 years.
So what is the story structure Michael is talking about? Well, there are 2 versions. The 6-stage plot structure is used for movies or novels. The 6-step success story is a simplified version Michael uses for content creators, entrepreneurs, speakers, and basically anyone who doesn't have 2 hours to get the job done. It basically works like this. You have to show the hero's before picture. What has their life been like up to this point? You have to establish empathy with the character so that we care about their story. Empathy is established through conflict, sympathy, jeopardy, likability, or having a special skill. Step 2 is when a new opportunity or crisis forces the hero to take action. This is where we establish a visible goal for our hero and begins a period of uncertainty or false start.
The next step is the opportunity or the crisis. Something happens that changes and puts you in a new situation.
Step 3 is the pursuit, when the hero forms a plan to achieve their goal. Step 4 is conflict. There will be internal and external obstacles for the hero to overcome. Step 5 is the climax. This is the moment the hero must cross the finish line and either achieve the goal or not. Like in the movie Cars, Lightning McQueen chooses not to win the race, even though that was the visible goal of the story. Step 6 is the aftermath. We must show the after picture. In addition to these 6 steps that form the outer structure, the hero also goes on an inner journey. Michael talked about this on our call.
What I refer to as the inner journey of the hero is the journey of transformation that occurs as they pursue the visible goal.
Back to Lightning McQueen as an example. We saw early in the film that he has no friends. So by the time he chooses not to win the race in order to stay back for a friend, that is the bigger victory. He found friendship and belonging, which is what he truly craved all along. Now we're applying every gem to the story. I think it might actually be ready.
Heroes in movies, before they go save the day or accomplish their goal, they stop asking, how can I not be afraid? And ask, am I willing to be afraid? Because heroes of movies are never not afraid. They're always afraid right up until the climax. So now all you're really showing is you're willing to be afraid. And of course you're going to be afraid. So just say that comes with it. So let's just go ahead. And
that was
I promise you, before we're done, the fear that you're going to forget about how afraid you are because you're going to be into your story.
That was really good coaching, by the way.
Yes, I know. I've done this before. But also, I was really happy you said that because everybody is feeling that way. This was just, leagues better. And that I think I might have said then, you could probably go ahead and just do this the way it is, because it had sort of its core stuff. But this is so much better. When you're developing your story, do not worry about length. Because if you're editing as you go, now you would because you're a copywriter, so you couldn't help yourself. But generally, if you edit as you go, if you're writing a story, creating a story, writing a screenplay, writing a novel, you could lose some of the gems. You would mention that you wanted to be monetized early because that gives us a goal to have in mind so that when you achieve that goal, you've won it. This is your script. And I always use green ink to do it. The first beginning of it, the whole setup of you is great, okay? until you decide this was my new goal. But then you said you wanted to make videos because I would not say it that way. I would say I didn't want to be a marketing guru because that's what I do for a living. I would say something like, I didn't want to be a guru. That's how I make my living, or that's my main job. And I love doing it, but I wanted this to be something different.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be fun or a break from that or
well,
whatever.
That's the truth. So, yeah.
Well, I know. I figured I'm generally not going to tell you to lie. I would say, I would first of all slip in, if you choose, I would say, these are the 6 essential steps that the hero of any story has to go through if it's going to work. So I think for me, or to convey what the 6 steps are, it wasn't real clear. I don't think, are these 6 steps the writer needs to take? Are these, but it's really the 6 steps the hero has to take. And if you know those 6 steps, then it will be structured correctly. And it might have been before you talk about the 6 steps, but there I would put in, just as a stronger plug, because this was my opportunity. That's what Michael refers to as the new event that's going to get you to take action, or get the hero to take it. Just a little bit of explanation that you're referring back to what I said. So the next video, pretty soon we'll see a video about you putting yourself through the ordeal of getting coached by me.
Okay, so the good news is Michael thought it was much better.
This is so much better.
But much better is not workshop ready. So now that I've collected the story gems, you'd think it'd be time to start writing. And if I'm being totally honest, I care more about impressing him than I do even the Hollywood peeps. So I need to do better than much better, which is why it is time for my secret hack. See, I found this recording of Michael Hauge and Will Smith talking about storytelling. And Will drops some serious primo gems. So I'm going to collect these Will Smith gems and apply it to my story too, to make it even better. Hopefully I'll wow Michael and at the very least not look bad in front of his clients and students. All right, let's do this.
It all starts with, at my company, what we refer to as the universally relatable emotion, right? So we try to start with an emotion, right, that is the central, most relatable aspect of it. The 4 questions I always ask myself with the main character: what does he want? Why does he want it? What's going to happen if he doesn't get it? What are the obstacles keeping him from getting it? And that essentially becomes, if you have 4 really good answers to those questions, a story can be crafted around the simplest of things. You know, in a movie like Pursuit of Happiness, the external obstacles are the things that cause the most internal difficulty. Once I answer those 4 questions for myself, I'm looking for the obstacle to, and it's a thing you never know when you'll find it. For the Pursuit of Happiness, it was the scene in the bathroom where everything collides in one moment, in one scene, and this guy is deteriorated to the point where he's sleeping in a subway bathroom with his son. We can't even get started until we have something that we want to say, until we have an opinion. And, Suicide Squad, for example, the question it poses is, can bad people do good things, right? Is there a point where you've done so many bad things that nothing you do can be redemptive? And that's a really profound, beautiful question that I love, is the central question of a big, summer Hollywood blockbuster. There's very few other things that can assist human beings in connecting the way a great story can.
Now it's time to apply every single gem we've collected on our journey to this story. I've applied all of Michael's coaching and integrated Will Smith's story gems. This is either going to impress the Godfather of Storytelling or completely bomb in front of all of his clients. Let's find out. Okay, that was fast. Let's see what it says. The Godfather of Storytelling has just approved my story. My story is going to be the example. What? And I learned so much from this. I hope you did too. These aren't just story tips. This is the actual framework Hollywood uses to make billion-dollar movies.